Good evening, trust you had a great day. So, for the past couple of days, I've been talking on building wealth from zero. For those who have followed our conversation since on Monday, I'll be talking about building wealth from zero. I think I started that whole conversation on Monday, and I'd say to a large extent. Sorry, I'm trying to set my camera. I don't know why this thing is not turning, or did it turn you, or you don't move. Can we put this here? So since on Monday, I've been having this conversation I tagged building wealth from zero. And I'd called it, sorry, I'm trying to set my camera in a way that I'm comfortable. Okay, I think I'm a bit okay. In a way that I'm comfortable. And for those who have followed, you know that I started from step by step, and I did not. Hi, good evening, Mr. Bology on Instagram. Hi, Shine, good evening. Well done for all you do, watching your progress from afar. So for all of those who have followed our conversation since on Monday, you will know that I did not hold anything back. I tried as much as I could or as I can to be transparent and to take it step by step so that anybody watching can follow. Most importantly, you would agree the conversation was not around things like it wasn't a motivational speaking, it was just me being real, telling you this is where to start, this is how to grow, and this is how to build wealth. I think I would say the key point is I have said is it is possible for everybody to be rich, but not everybody can be rich. It is possible for everybody to be rich, but not everybody can be rich. So it's also possible for everybody to be wealthy, but not everybody can be wealthy. That is number one, which I think I need us to understand. Hi, Salamat Idris, good evening, which I need us to understand. Two, I think one other major thing I said around this conversation of growing riches is we don't get riches by prayers, it's not by fasting, it's not whether you have anointing, it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, a pagan, an atheist, it really doesn't matter. Riches are built through principles. Riches are built through principles. I made that clear. Riches also, being rich, is based on a series or a sequence of events. And I said, when we say it's based on screening of a series of events, it means that it is not whether you do those things, it is whether you do those things in the sequence that it is supposed to follow. I use the whole creation. Yes, Shine, you don't build principles. Yeah, principles. Because somebody might be, hey, how would you say I cannot get rich by praying. There is the man in the Bible who died, and his wife ran to either Prophet Haitomi, Prophet Elijah or Elisha, I can't remember which of them. And he told the prophet, hey, my husband, your servant, is dead. My husband was a faithful servant. He was dedicated to the Lord, but now he is dead. And what did she say? She said, they are coming to take my children as slaves, as a way to pay back the debt. Now notice, the man of God did not say it is a lie your husband was a sinner, or it is a lie your husband did not believe. The salvation or the authenticity of the man's salvation was not questioned, but his poverty was a reality. So you can be anointed and poor. You can have God working through you and be poor. Both realities can coexist. Which is why I am one of those who don't believe if you are meeting a man of God to teach you principles to wealth, if he is not running a business, he is teaching you theories and not practical. Because he does not have the real understanding of principles to wealth. You know, I jocularly tell people at times that, let me not say that because this is open, but I'll let that go. Somebody is asking, Mr. Shiny is asking, what about luck? You might stumble into riches with luck. Maybe you won a lottery, you went with a bad habit like gambling and won some money. But that's why today's topic is titled Wealth from Zero, Boring and Strategy. If you don't understand money, any money you made by luck, you will lose it by foolishness. I would explain. Remember I talked about this partially in my conversation within the week, where I said, imagine somebody mistakenly or somehow you just got a good contract and you suddenly made a profit of 300 million, 500 million naira profit. If your financial IQ is not up to 500 million, you will realize that you are going to waste that money on frivolities. You probably buy a car, buy a house, buy a sheep, buy a dog, buy a this, buy a that, on frivolities. Your sense will suddenly come back when the balance, your account balance, gets to the level of your financial IQ. For some people, their wisdom will come back on how to properly plan the money when they hit 100M, some 50M, some 10M, some 1M. Some people's own will come back when you reach 50K. Not because there is any demon disturbing you, but because there is a financial intelligence that you lack, that is expressed in your relationship with money. That is expressed in your relationship with money. I'm just trying to summarize what we have done for the past 4 days. Then I said, as a young person, most of us who grew up in the trenches started our career from zero. And I said, if as a young person you have a dream or a vision, but you don't have money to fund that vision, I said the way to start is to go and become an apprentice, a servant in another man's vision. You go find where you can serve. You go find where you can work. And I said, whether you are working for free or you are earning a salary, yes, by the month, suppose financial IQ is 50K, or you are earning a salary, I said, in that place where you are working, you must give it your best. You see, I said you must work as though your life depends on it. And I gave an example. Why? We used the example of David in the Bible, Uncle Davido. I said, imagine for a minute when they came. I said, just try to imagine the story to be a real story that you can relate with, so that it doesn't sound like what you are reading just in the Bible. Like, try to imagine it. I said, let's try to imagine this happening really today, that maybe a Bishop Oyedepo, a Daddy Adeboye, a Bishop Idahosa, a Pastor W.F. Kumuyi, Pastor Christopher Yakilome. Think of the great men of God, about 10 of them. They say, we are coming to your village, we are coming to your house, and the Lord has told us you are the next president of Nigeria. Try and imagine it. Because remember that at that time, Prophet Samuel was the #1 prophet in the land. So it means that if he was on his way to the house, there were probably some pororo, they were like, propheto, propheta, propheticos. And he came to your house. And he said, I have come to anoint the next king of, or the next president of Nigeria. They are asking, where is the child? And like, they called all the children, they did not call your name. They finally said, don't you know he's in the farm? He's in the farm. He's a farmer. Always on the farm. You don't want to make life, you don't want to make something for life. You'll be farmer. They now came to pick you. They brought you home. You know, they will not bring you home in the way you are smelly and dirty, because he's a whole prophet. And the prophet says, we are not going to sit until you arrive. Try to imagine the story. Then you now go, clean up the person. They've cleaned you up. They now brought you. Before the prophet. The prophet now laid his hands and said, you are the next president of Nigeria. They poured oil on you. What would you be expecting after they poured that oil? It's not enough just for you to get up and your story has changed. You sure you will come out with a testimony. After the oil touched me, my life changed. Everything became brand new. But think about the truth that happened. After the whole anointing oil, Baba went back to the bush to stay with animals. What brought him from that bush to the palace was he was playing flute. He was playing flute. Think about it. Who was he playing flute to? Sheep. Oga, who are your audience? Sheep. What is your destiny that has been prophesied? Kinghood. How do you know this is true? The #1 prophet in town came to tell me I am the next king of Israel. But what do you do right now? I am playing flute and taking care of sheep. Now, this is the fun part. His introduction to the palace was because the palace needed somebody that could play flute. So, what brought him to internship in the palace was the flute. Was the flute. Why am I re-emphasizing this? Because remember I said the problem a lot of people, or the mistake a lot of people have made is they commonized where they are working. They looked down on what they have in their hand doing, saying it is not enough. They are going to be serious when they have oil and gas job. That is why till now, even petrol station, you never see where to sell for instance. You never see petrol attendant to carry job. You never even see palm oil to sell. Advice on use a man of God that doesn't run a business as board of director. So he said, your advice on using a man of God that doesn't run a business as a board of director, because a senior friend is having an issue regarding that. People can't learn. One of the challenges was that the fund that entered like grant, pastor would emphasize on removing tithe. So I'm laughing because if this were a closed meeting, there are things I would say. there are things I would teach, but because people have a way of misinterpreting things. You know, I've said it before. Except the man of God has a business that he is running or she is running, they cannot advise you on business. They cannot, they cannot advise you on business. Because when it comes to running a business, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. How much more, except what you are running is a church? How much more putting them in charge of your, what is it called, as a board of director? Think about it. Even Jesus, a whole Jesus, ensured that it was it not Matthew, the tax collector, was in charge of tax and money in his disciples. Someone that has a previous experience. When your church wants to do building construction, do they put a fellow pastor that is just a pastor from pastor that, or do they look for an architect in the church to put in charge? Why they not give unto medical doctor to be in charge? Because there are some things I see people do that I question your intellectuality. It is me seeing somebody, see, can your business pay tithes? There was a place I taught this and everybody almost scattered. Can your business pay tithes? Yes. But if your business is going to be paying tithes, you must ensure that the church that you are paying tithes to is a church recognized by FIROS officially, that allows you to report the tithes that you paid for tax exemption. Because that tithe that you paid must be recorded. The church must give you receipt so that when you go and present it during your, what is it called, your your tax filing and all of that, you are able to claim it. Because according to the law, when you give a CSR, let's say your profit supposed to be 1 million, but you have done a CSR of 200K, you are no longer going to pay, maybe your let me for a perfect example, your profit is 10 million, you did a CSR of 500K, but let's imagine your tax was supposed to be 1 million. When they do the calculation, you are no longer paying 1 million. You might end up paying 200K because of the 500K goods that you did. But the church must be one registered to be one of those seen as being able to ensure you get tax exemption. Because remember, a church is an NGO. And NGOs do not pay tax, which means if you are going, and there are rules to this thing, you cannot donate your tithe. Your tithe must have what you are using it for. That's it. Maybe one day I'll have that class separately. Because some people do not understand these things. And you hear them mumbling things up and they're like, but that one, hey, Prince Elion, Daddy, good evening, sir. You hear people mumbling things up and they do not understand that when you go abroad and you see companies paying tithe, there is a tax, what is it called, refund that they get because of that tithe. There is a tax recalculation that they do for them because that tithe is a CSR, is a corporate social responsibility. But you see, in Nigerian tax laws, there are rules of what that money must be used for. You cannot say, I gave the tithe and they used it to build a building. You cannot reclaim that. So maybe they are going for humanitarian thingy. There is a way. That's a whole different conversation. You don't borrow loan and pay tithe on loan. No, now. Setting up an Afro version. Yes, okay, no problem. Thank you, sir. You don't pay, go and borrow loan. Then you are paying tithe on loan. No, now. No. But that's a story for another day. Back to what we were saying. So I think after that, I then explained that level 1 is you use your money. Then I talked about level 2 of trying to build wealth, where I said in level 2, you use other people's money. Excuse me. In level 2, we use other people's money. But remember, in that level 2, I took time to put in caveats. And I explained the key thing in level 2. We don't use other people's money for expansion. We use other people's money for growth. Where I explained that growth is internal, expansion is external. Growth is optimization. Expansion is maximizing. I gave an example. The flute in the palace, you are still waiting for. No, I thought I finished explaining that now. I gave an example and I said, take time and look at a farm. I think I used my book that day. I said, if I have a farm, and I said, let's say this is the size of my farm. This was my explanation. And on this farm, I have, let's say, 1 plot and 10 plants or 100 plants. And I said, if I use 5 naira to get 5 kg, normally, growth is, how can I use 5 naira to get 10 kg? Or, how can I reduce my cost to get the same yield? Meaning, can I use 3 naira to get 5 kg? That is growth. So, I am thinking of how to optimize. How to optimize. So, when you are taking other people's money, the goal is optimization. The goal is increased efficiency. How can I do things better? Because the mistake a lot of people have made is to take other people's money and do expansion, which is wrong. Because I said the problem with other people's money is it does not come with long term. Moratorium is short. Depending on the poverty level of the people you are collecting money from, they will need the money sooner than you think. You know, I took time to explain that. And I said, what qualifies you to graduate from level 1 to level 2 is that you had results. So that anybody giving you money at level 2 gave you money because they assumed that you know how to get results. Key. They gave you money because of the results that they saw, which was why I explained that you must be honest to yourself to say, the results that these people are seeing, can I duplicate it? If not, when they offer you money, let it go. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Prince Elion, thank you, sir. So, when they offer you money because they have seen results, ask yourself, you are the one that knows the truth. Did I really know there are some results you get, even yourself, you are shocked. You know, those days when there are some exam you write, you'll be like, Dale, God, no. And when the results come out and you see them, people are like, wow, you got a B. You know they boast because in your mind, you know, say, now God do this one, Abi. The same way, before you graduate from level 1 to level 2 of taking other people's money, you must ask yourself the honest truth. Did I really get this result by predictable pattern? That was when I taught us that in level 1, that's when you start developing your SOPs. You are writing, everything that works did not work. As when I taught you how to get interns to come in so that you are able to train them and they work cheaper. I said, if for any reason they become so good that it is no longer okay working with them for free, let them go. Help them find a better paying job, let them go. I taught you that. I will give you examples of one of our staff that we had to let go at some point before we were later able to bring her back. So that you understand that it is not that, oh, because I have trained you, you must stay with me. No. If they have grown beyond what you can pay for, be honest and let them go. Help them find a better position. You are not losing. Then I said level 3 is access to institutional funding. I took time to explain that. I said because in level 2, you were using other people's money that was choking you. I said in level 1, you will be broke. People will yap you. People will insult you. I said, but by the time you qualify and enter level 2, hunger is no longer your issue. Where to sleep may no longer be your issue. I said, but the problem is peace of mind will disappear. In level 1, you do not have issues with peace of mind. You can sleep broke. You are poor. You had no fear of falling because you were on the ground. I said, but in level 2, you no longer have peace of mind, but you can eat. I said, but by the time you grow to level 3, you have access to institutional funding. You know, I took time to explain that in details. I said, these are people that can give you funds for 10 years, 20 years, and tell you, okay, this is how you want to pay back. Okay, let's work like that. I gave you examples of such organizations. One of them is, I gave you an example using pension funds of Nigeria. Think about it. I gave you the example of if I am 30 years old now, and I am working for an institute or a government, and imagine I earn 200K or 300K. And I gave you the example. I said, imagine government only deduct 5,000 for my pension. You remember I gave that example. Let me see if I can do the math again. I said, imagine government only takes 10,000 or 5,000 for my pension. I say 5,000 every month times 12 months in a year is 60,000, and this will be kept for 30 years because that's when I will retire. I say times 30 years, you get 1.8 million. Now, if government does that for 1,000 of us, that's how much? 1,000, 100,000, that's 1.8 billion. I said, this is money available to pension funds. Now, everybody that works a formal job, whether government or private, except a private company that does not have enough money to have put you on your pension fund, try and imagine how much money pension funds has because of this. Try and imagine how much funds pension funds has because of this. And they are looking for where to put this money so it doesn't just sit idle. I said, but if you don't have a business that can access that fund, you will be shouting, there is no money, nobody can help. I gave various examples of institutional fundings that are available, but there are nobodies who has the business big enough to collect it. Somebody said, what's the difference between debt and equity? Which is most appropriate source of finance and why? Debt is just a loan. Equity is, I am giving you part of my company so that you can give me money to run or build or do whatever I want to do in the company. Now, it depends on where you are in your journey that determines what you should go for. In my own perception, I always tell people 10% of 1 billion is better than 100% of 10,000 naira company. I mean, no. So, if what you are building is really, really big, and people are coming to give, Madam Tosin, good evening, ma. Good evening, ma. Good to see you, ma. If what you are building is really big, and people are coming to you, okay, let's give us equity, give us equity, give us equity, ask yourself, does this make me better quick? Because if you take equity, I mean, I don't want to make it complex, but if you take equity, one, depending on the kind of equity you are taking, if you are taking equity from venture capitalists, they want to have a say in the leadership of how the company is run. If you take equity from angel investors, they really don't want to be bothered. They don't really want to have a say that much in how your business is run. So you need to then ask yourself, in this equity that I am collecting, what do I need? Because there are times that what you need is somebody to hold your hand. Not just somebody working behind the scene and giving you money. There are times that what you need is somebody to put a structure around what you're doing, right? At times, what you need is somebody that can help you navigate policies or navigate boundaries and all of that. So, in such cases, maybe equity works. When you are taking loan, I always advise, if you're using other people's money as loan, because it is not long-term, remember that's when I talked about the X factor, that you need to put the money in the area that is most profitable in your business. When I took time to explain that not every part or area of your business or every point of your business that has the same multiplication ratio in returns. Because the issue many a time is you are doing what has a high return and low return as one value chain. So where you are good is being cancelled by where you are not so good. So you take money as loan, as whatever, and you fund everything. Hope I explained that well. I know that also what they call convertible notes, where you can take a loan and the agreement is if I cannot pay back, convert this to what's it called, equity and stuff like that. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Then after I had talked about institutional funding, remember I said before you can access institutional funding, one of the major things you need to have is structure and a board. And I said the reason why a board is needed is because if you are the CEO alone and you are not accountable to anybody, that is seen as a huge financial risk. So there needs to be somebody somewhere that you are accountable to, a group of persons. And most financial or most institutional bodies, we take time to verify the expertise and authenticities of these people. Then one of the reasons why this is important is to ensure that you do not lose your sense of wisdom and start living la vida loca. There, I gave an example of a skit I watched, I think it's by Dr. Craze or Dr. Clown, I can't remember his name, where he was interviewing somebody that is, what's it called, differently colored, what you call albino or albino. And while they were interviewing the guy, again, it's a comedy, the comedian, the albino guy said, hey, guess what? That they have been writing to a particular organization to just fund them if they need $1 billion. And they're like, but they've given you some money. They say, yes, the only thing they gave him was $100 million. And the person that was a psychologist, Dr. Clown, was like, that's a lot of money. And I said, no, it's not enough, that because I had to buy a private jet because I cannot be attending meeting with the regular flight anymore. I need to arrive well. Now, the key thing I want us to take out of that is, if there is no board, there is a probability you will abuse money. Somebody might be thinking, no, from Sam, you don't know me, oh. Baba, we don't know you, that's the truth. Until money enters your hand, your true color will show. Right now, you are saying, no, I'm very disciplined, I don't take alcohol. Let money come. Maybe you can't afford alcohol. Oh, no, from Sam, trust me, I don't live a lavish lifestyle. Let money come. We cannot trust your sincerity in money management when you don't have money to manage. It is the person that has money to manage or money to spend that can boast of having management and capacity when it comes to money. You cannot say, oh, I don't like flying around when you don't own a private jet, you don't have a passport, you don't have visa, you don't have anything, nothing. Why would you like flying around? Say you be Benin person, you won't fly for nights. So, that is why that board is needed. Two, they need a system. Because as your company gets that kind of institutional funding, you cannot be everywhere to micromanage. They need to be sure that there is a system in place so that the result that we saw that brought us does not become truncated simply because you are big. I took time to explain that. Then finally I said there is a fourth level higher than this. I said that right? There is a fourth level which is governmental backing. And remember I said that I did not call it governmental funding. I intentionally called it governmental backing. And I gave our own example. I said, as a farmer, in case you don't know, your farm does not have any value when it comes to accessing loan from institutions, because your farm most of the time is in a village, and the what's the word I'm looking for now? A property's evaluation is based on not just how it looks and all of that, also where it is, because the easier it is to flip a property, the higher its valuation. So if you are like, oh, I have 10,000 acres in Obikboro, and you are telling the bank, come and use my 10,000 acres in Obikboro, the question the bank will ask themselves is, how easy is it to flip this land in Obikboro? If they cannot flip it, they cannot accept it as collateral. And I then gave an example that, oh, I was fortunate, His Excellency, the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, came to visit the farm. He was impressed by what we were doing and gave me the CFO of the land. And I said, because of that governmental support of CFO, there are things I can easily get now with a land that would have meant nothing. If you follow the history of slavery in the US and the abolition of sin, you will realize that one of the biggest misgivings, even the Black Americans still complain till date, was the fact that even though slavery was abolished, the Black Americans or African Americans were still not allowed to own lands. And that translated to a whole level of generational poverty. And in the conversation, I gave you different names of organizations who are in charge of how you can get grants, how you can get loan, some from 5% up to 9%, grant of up to 500 million, how you can use carbon credit to collect money through government. I gave lots and lots of examples. Now, having reviewed everything I had said in the past 4 days as concise as I could, I then ended by saying that because I had called the class Wealth from Zero, that unfortunately the truth is my conversation since on Monday was on how to build riches. And remember, the way we started on Monday was me asking, when it comes to riches, how often do you earn money? Excuse me, how often do you earn money? Of which I then explained, how often do you spend money? And you then realize that there was an imbalance. I spend money daily, but I probably receive income once in a month, once in 2 months, once in 3 months. And I said, no, what we need to build gradually is a system that gives you money every day. I said, but we are not going to jump into building something that will give you money every day at once. You know, I explained that, right? I said, so we are going to be systemic in our building so that we can gradually increase our income. I said all of that, right? Now, I now said, this today, what we will try to do is, how do we gradually move us from a place of having riches to building wealth? A place of I have riches to I am building wealth. Because wealth is built. Wealth is built. We build wealth. Now, the first question somebody might ask me is, what is riches? What is wealth? When we say riches, riches number one could mean you have assets like cash available. Assets like cash. You have things, or you have things you can easily convert to cash. Those are riches. Now, the problem with riches is the fact that riches can easily be affected by seasons and economics of the world. riches can easily be affected by the economy, by social norms or social ills. They can easily be affected, they can easily be impacted. An example that easily comes to mind, I'm not mocking him, is Kai B. I mean, for some reason I don't know him and I thought I knew who that is. And I remember watching one of his skits, but not a skit, I think I saw a snippet online where he was like, oh, they were like, oh, this guy used to be very big and blah, blah, blah. And recently he came out and he said, no, I was just pretending to be poor because he told me to say that I have a house and all. And I could try to imagine the before and after. What is wealth? Wealth is sustainable system. Sustainable system. Hey, very, very important. This is a system that you have diversified your income streams. You have assets that appreciate. You have investments that compounds over time, what we call compounded interest. Wealth is what allows you to retire and maintain the lifestyle you had when you were at work, or even a better lifestyle. Riches is what happens. Riches, when you have riches and you retire, your lifestyle starts going down. Riches is tied to your work ethics. Wealth is tied to strategy. I will say that again. Riches is tied to your work ethics. Wealth is tied to your strategy. Strategy. I will pause to be sure that we are following. Somebody just type whether riches, a strategy, or work ethics. Work ethics. Let me be sure that work ethics or strategy. I want to be sure we are still together, so I'm not just talking to myself and assuming people are online. Remember that this is a lecture for farmers, so that when you start hearing an example of plants, animal, not be like, say, okay, only one person on TikTok, because I want to be sure we are following only one person. Okay, 2 now. Riches is to work ethics, strategy. Wealth is to strategy. Okay, Instagram has 2 persons. Work, what of Facebook? Okay, I can't see my Facebook here. Let me come and check here. Wealth is tied to strategy. Okay, thank you. Wealth is tied to strategy. Wealth is tied to strategy. Because why am I thank you so much for the feedback. Why am I taking time to explain this thing little by little? I'm sure some of us know somebody that was formerly rich and now he's broke. And you now hear things like, the economy took a downturn. But in the economy that took a downturn, there are people that got richer. There are people that build wealth because the economy became bad. There are people, I made a statement earlier in the week where I said, when you say Nigeria is hard, Nigeria does not have money, everybody is broke. It is not the reality of Nigerians as a whole, it is just your own reality. Thank you, Tommy. There are Nigerians who I know that are building houses. There are Nigerians who are, in short, let me not tag her. There is a mama I know online who is just like, mo fẹ́ ra Lambo, mo fẹ́ ra Porsche. So, that Nigeria is broke is not the truth, but it is your reality because it is your truth. That people are poor is not the truth, it is your truth because it is your living reality. So, we build wealth from strategy. We build wealth from strategy. We build riches based on our work ethics. Because it's not just that I am working, there is a sequence and ethics, emotional, a demeanor of work I need, the way I need to work that would get me riches. Hope that makes sense. Now, how do I gradually convert my riches to wealth as a farmer? Because remember, if you have followed all our conversations step by step, you started poor, you got other people's money, you got institutional funding, you even got government support. Remember, I also said you don't even need to get to government support. You can choose to stop at institutional funding and you are fine. But if you choose, you get government support. You now have riches. How then do I convert my riches to wealth? Number one, you must start to diversify your income. Excuse me. You must start to diversify your income. You must. You cannot be wealthy from one thing. You cannot be wealthy from one thing. You must push that money, that profit you are making into other things. Now, listen to this part that will shock you. True wealth is not built in fancy trading things. True wealth is not built in fancy and trendy things. Those fancy and trendy things might be very popular, but true wealth is built in the boring things. True wealth is in boring industries. What are boring industries? How are they defined? These are industries that do not have that sex appeal. You cannot even go out and tell people, oh, this is where I work. You cannot tell people this is where I work, because one day they'll be like, let me explain. So you know it's actually a business term. I'm not the one bringing it up. Boring sectors are industries or businesses that are not exciting. Keyword, they are not exciting, because you are looking for excitement to build wealth. Building wealth is a boring journey. Building wealth is a boring journey. I want somebody to write that down, please. Put it on live. I want to write it on the, type it on the chat, because I want to be sure you understand this. But you should please write it down. Building wealth is a boring journey. To write that down, please. Building wealth is a boring journey. It's boring. Building riches can be interesting, but building wealth is boring. Hey, boredom will kill you. It's a boring journey. Building wealth is a boring journey. I know that many a time when you hear of the rich men, the people you think about are the Elon Musk, which is beautiful. Abi? Try and take time and see what are they really doing? Go. What are they really doing? Do you think it is an interesting thing to be sold? All these your phones at all that they are soldering and getting things done. You think it's an interesting thing? Because if you want to diversify your money, the problem is you are looking for what is interesting. And what is interesting will excite you. After it has excited you, it will take your money. Why did people fall for MMM? It was exciting. Which other one again? MM, and it wasn't only MMM, but you know the ones I'm talking about. Why are people falling for things like go and do gambling? There is that adrenaline rush. I have put the money. Oh, he caught. You put them again. This one enter. Okay. You will not build wealth that way. You see, I'm using AI dictionary to read this. Ponzi schemes, because they sound interesting. They sound interesting. The biggest problem we have in the world today is people are not willing to listen to boring things. We just want to be excited. Yes, crypto is part of it. It's exciting. Forex is exciting. The real Forex is boring, bro, and you don't have money to do it. CBEX. We are looking for exciting things to put our money. That is why we are losing the money. To build wealth, you must get accustomed to boring. He says, boring sectors are industries or businesses that are not exciting. This is Google AI speaking. But offer high stability. Stable, nothing can happen. 2, it is consistently in demand. Why do I know that we have a big problem in this generation? We are more interested to attend financial seminars by motivational speakers because a financial seminar by a real person that has made money in finance, that has made real money in their business, not through speaking, will be a boring conversation. Hello? It will be a boring conversation. You will not be happy listening to that conversation, but they are the guys that have the money. They are the guys that have the keys. You would rather spend 10 hours or 2 hours listening to one actor or actress or musician dancing and doing kurin than spend 1 hour listening to a Warren Buffett, because a Warren Buffett would be boring to listen to. But they are the ones that hold the real keys that you need to build. Are we still together? Because boring sectors will give you stability. Boring sectors stay in a place that has consistent demand. They have good profitability and they bring essential services. So you are to diversify your money into things that are essential. Essential are not flashy. Essentials are not luxury. Essentials are not flamboyant, but they are just there, cool and calm. You need it every day. Let me ask this question. I want us to do a practical example. I want us to type, please. I know I've made us type a lot today. You know, in the other classes, I wasn't making anybody type. Please, because I want this to be relatable in how we build wealth. Type how many salt brands that you know. Salt, the salt that we use in cooking. Type how many brands of salt that you know. Please type it. Salt, Iyo, salt. You say this brand, maybe the sugar, now you say St. Louis Sugar, 1, Mr. Chef, 1, Dangote, 2. So I've seen Dangote from Instagram. I've seen Mr. Chef and Dangote from TikTok. Yes. Somebody has said Mr. Chef. Yes. Yes. Which salt brands do you know? I want you to type them. Annapurna, yes. Annapurna is also inside like this fine pack. That's the only two I know. Mr. Chef salt, Dangote Mr. Chef. Is anybody getting anything? How many of us use salt at home? How many of you use salt at home? How many people do you know that use salt in their houses? Coastal Mediterranean sea salt, yes. How many people use salt at home? How many people do you know that use salt at home? Every one of us, Abi. So everybody, they use salt. How many of us invest in salt? Do you get where I'm coming from? Everybody is using salt, is using salt. We dey take salt, we dey use salt, we dey take salt, we dey use salt, we dey take salt, we dey use salt. All of us dey use salt. But very few people go invest in salt. So those people who are in royal salt, those people who are investing in salt are not up to 1,000, not even 1,000, they are not up to 100 companies in Nigeria. Which means 100 companies owns 220 million people market alone. And we are fine. You are not saying that you need to diversify to essential commodities. Essential, I can give you lots and loads of examples. Essential commodities are essential for a reason, but they are boring. Because think am now, they say, let's introduce ourselves. You will come out. Oh, hi, my name is Jide John. I work with oil and gas company. Another person will come out. Oh, my name is John Jide. I work with Microsoft. You're like, big boy. Now it comes out. My name is Lagbaja Lobojo. I work with that company I feel called now. I am the manager of Don Jazzy. No, Don Jazzy is the manager himself. I manage Whiskey, Davido, and Burna Boy. They're like, whoa. The other person will now come out. Oh, hi, good afternoon, everyone. I run a company where I sell salt. Nothing that go just look at you. They sell salt. God forbid. But that guy selling salt is cashing out. But the industry is boring. Now, remember how we defined a boring company? Abi, can you remember? Let's go back to the definition. So you see, I'll give you another example. One, there is high stability. You need salt yesterday. You need it today. You will need it tomorrow. Even if another Lot's wife turn to salt, we go add and join the salt sell. Two, there is a consistent demand for salt. There is a consistent demand for salt. Go and do your research on salt and see the profitability in salt. Have you noticed that price of salt not dey jump anyhow? Have you noticed the price of salt not dey jump? Who has noticed the price of salt not jump? As much as we are saying the economy this, the economy that, price of salt not dey jump up because the profit wey they don't already do. It is an essential service. If you dey cook, you go put salt. You wan wash back of your pot with charcoal, you go use salt. Many things when we dey use salt do. Essential service. I don't know if I'm making any sense. It is an essential service. Because I know you are working to create riches, but you need to diversify that riches somewhere. You need to diversify that riches somewhere. You cannot just leave that riches as cash. Oh man, Lord. I know somebody has lied to you. Go and build a house. Build your first house. No. A house that you are building to live in is not saving you from house rent. Error. Irony now. Among some of my colleagues, I call them and say, let's do the maths. Because somebody somewhere is trying to tell you now to go and start building house. Let's do the maths. House is not saving you anything. We do the math regularly. If you are living in Lagos, to buy land in a place like even Ojodu, all those houses, I might not be too correct, but yes, boring industries don't make headlines. They don't get viral attention, but they are making clean cash. Let me finish the point so I will not get distracted. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. When you look at, you want to build a house, you went to buy land, maybe you bought the land, let's even say Kokboto, 10 million naira for a plot or 5 million for a plot. You now built one small bungalow there, you have spent 25 million. Question is, how much was your rent? Maybe your rent was even 1 million or 2 million per year. Calculate 2 million. It means it will take 12 years, assuming you didn't do any repair in the house, to have recovered from that house if you were paying rent? What if you had put that 25-30 million you spent on the house and land into a proper investment so that the investment is what built your house? How would that have looked like? How would that have looked like? So we must learn to start diversifying as farmers. We must start thinking, okay, this profit that I am making, what do I diversify into? Another example of products that are still not glamorous. Again, remember, I am speaking to you that you are a farmer. Abi? You are a farmer. Now you they stay inside bush. Not be you. Now you they inside bush now. Have you heard of furniture before? Furniture. Hey, you know furniture now. The chair when they use, the table when you they use, the shelf in your kitchen, and all the tigbo. Let me ask you this question. How many furniture, I'm not saying carpenter, I know you know carpenter. How many major furniture companies do you know? How many furniture companies do you know? Maybe you will call bedmates, Abi? What's the other one? There's another one that is a friend to bedmates. You probably call those two and pause. Abi? All the woods that they use come from the bush. You, when you be farmer, where you they stay, not be inside bush. Abi? Now for near you, they cut the tree. Carry go saw me go saw am. You go call go meet these people where you go use and do things. Do you see where you are not investing? What is the proof of somebody has become rich? Not be say go change furniture for a house. The proof of saying you get money be say your furniture will change. Now get me right, I am not saying go and open a furniture company. Even if it is timber, I am saying if you are looking for where to put investment, pay fair shares. Why not buy shares in a furniture company? Because they will grow. They are stable. People will always get richer. Chairs will always spoil. Furniture will break. Wardrobe will spoil. They will go back and buy more. It's a stable economy. Stable economy. There are lots, and take your time and look at the products around your house. Think of products around your house. If you live in an urban area, one of the biggest issues today, should I tell you, is getting artisans to fix your house. If you live alone, you either have an electrician, a carpenter, a plumber, a mechanic, somebody somewhere that you are always calling, washele. And if you have lived long enough in that place, you are the one that new people are calling to get the good carpenters and co. Abi? I'm going somewhere. Think about it. If you are a farmer to the core, real farmer, you know on the farm, you know the best plumbers. Abi? You know the farm, you know the plumbers. You know the good electricians. You know the good carpenters. Because you get to use them on your farm, you know who they are and how good they are and what you can send them to do and not to do. If your farm is slightly big, you even know the good mechanics that can do well and the one that cannot do well. Abi? And you are in 2024 or 2025 where you are shouting, I am tech savvy. At what point will you start making and maximizing money from these guys that you have hired as your carpenter, as your plumber? Just imagine you now create an app because people know you. They are buying your product and you put a thing they can scan as if you need an artisan that you can trust. Call us. You see? You have diversified. You now clean them up. Buy uniform. Let them be clean. And they call them, okay, washele. You create standard service. You pay them well and you make extra money. Diversify. Because Any good farmer in Nigeria that is educated, you have the numbers of good artisans on your phone. Because you must have engaged one artisan or the other. You know how to find them. You know where to get them. You know the job they can do and what they cannot do. That could be your other business. Diversify. Which other diversify can you do? You are a plant farmer. Check out other crops. You must differentiate short-term crops from long-term crops. You must get to the point where you understand these short-term crops that I am doing is a way to raise money and multiply it fast, but the way to secure the future, because I will not always have the energy, is to start planting the timbers, the cocos, the cashew, the oil palm that will take care of me in the future. You must start rethinking. This is how we build wealth. Wealth is not in flashy things. Wealth is in what? Boring. Boring. Number two, you must know how to use your riches to access financing by investing in assets. You must learn how to use your riches to access low-cost financing. Very important. Because as those riches come, remember if you read Mr. Femi Otenola's book, when he was in crazy debt, what brought him out easily was what? He had assets he could say, take and let me go. He had assets. What if he never invested in those assets? What would have happened? What would have happened? Just a minute. What would have happened to him? So you must know how to start investing in little assets. You must know how to start investing in little assets. So as you are putting money, as you are getting riches, start asking yourself, is this an asset? How did I define asset? Asset is not just what brings money. In financial terms, asset is what you can flip easily to make money. How easy is it to flip this thing? When I want to flip this thing, would this thing have made more money or less money? Would this thing have made more money or less money? Would this thing have depreciated so bad or it would have appreciated? This is how we build wealth. Because you are going to need money to make more money. I will say that again. You need money to make more money. You need more money to make much more money. You need much more money to make much more money. So it means that if you are going to access proper money, you must start building things that can be your hedge to receive money. So it means the proof that you have sense is not that money came and you went to buy car. That money entered your account does not mean go and buy a car. Because can that car be used as an hedge? No. Except maybe you are buying a Lamborghini, that will know that, okay, these ones are seen as asset-ish. Or you are buying real original gold. A real original gold, yes, it falls, Ogaje, good evening, sir. A real original gold falls under asset. At the same time, you can use it to flex. Hopefully nobody steals it. Yes, you need money to make more money. You need more money to make much more money. That's the reality. Thank you for writing. That's the harsh reality. So, as the money begins to come, we use that money to start building assets. We are now able to use that asset as collateral to get more money. We now use that more money to build more collateral. You use that new collateral to get much more money. You use that much more money to build much more collateral. You understand? It's a cycle. It's a cycle. You just need to first get your first real money, and you now start putting things in place. You take this, you put it. You use it again to go back and collect. You take it, you put it, go back and collect. That way you start building, you start building, you start building. By the time you say you are getting to retirement, you realize that you have assets that has become wealth, that on their own they are generating money that takes care of you. You now have assets that has become wealth. You are somebody that is here, you are thinking, oh, what can I do? I really like farming. As you are farming, go and start buying cows. Think of how to open a ranch. Cows are assets. They are easily flippable. If you borrow money with a cow, right now, a big substantial cow costs about 1 million to 1.5. To start the cow business, you need less than 200K for one. Less than 200K to buy one, or 250 maximum to buy one. I know for free that if you talk to these, there's a name we call them, not Alhajis, there's a name we call them. They live in villages, they live at least different villages. I've been with them and seen them, gisted with them. They charge you about whether 10 or 15K per cow per month. Which means you cannot tell them, okay, I'm giving you cow to help me manage, let's buy 10 cows. You have 5 million you are not using, use it, buy cows. 250 times 5 million is 4 times 5, that's 20. That's 20 cows. And you say, okay, be managing it. When all of them born, I want more females. And before you know what is happening, 5 years down the line, your 20 cows are like maybe 80 to 100 cows. That's 100 million naira assets. The economy continues as it is. If those cows can live up to 4 or 5 years, you know how much you have gotten? About 200 million naira in assets walking down the streets. You can now take that cow and say, okay, I want to sell. You can use that cow as a collateral. Oh, you don't want to do that. Oh, you have more money. Go and buy Frisian cow. Those ones don't need to roam around because they are for milk. That cow will give you about 25 liters of milk every day. Try to show you how we do things, how we make money. 25 liters of milk every day. That 25 liters of milk, you can decide to turn it to cheese. Because it is just 1 cow or 2 cows you have, for artificial insemination, there are guys in UI looking for where to inseminate for 50K happily, and they will happily do it for you. 25, 30K, they will do it for you. The vet doctor, look for one very good student that came out with first class that is still looking for his footings. And he's happy because he has a Frisian cow he's managing. You can do yogurt, you can do cheese, and you are making money. The yogurt does not have to be packed to fight Fine Yogurt and Co. That yogurt is just a side hustle. You are still doing your real business. That yogurt can just be sold in your community, just your community. And every day you are getting 30 liters to turn to yogurt, 30 liters to turn to yogurt. What have you invariably done? You have created an asset that makes money for you every day. Public holiday, work day, holiday, any day. Every day. You are making money every day. It's not making any sense. So that you are not doing seasonal, oh, I am waiting for 1 year. No. Every day. For those of you that are spiritually inclined, let me explain to you why I am very particular about you growing your wealth to make money daily. Let me tell you why. There is this story in the Bible that I know you've all read, but maybe you didn't read it the way I read it. The story talks about the day that Jesus was hungry and he sat under a fig tree. You all know the story now? And when he looked at the fig tree trying to get a fruit to eat, he realized that the tree had no fruit. Do you remember? But what was interesting to me was the fact that it was written that the tree was not in its season to have fruit. And Jesus cursed the tree. Think about it now. Think about it. You are under a mango tree and you know it's not mango season. Should I be angry with a mango season that does not have mango when it is not mango season? No, now. But Jesus cursed the tree for not having a fruit. Interpretation for me, I saw it as, if I only bear fruit in certain seasons, I am operating under a curse. So I had to intentionally start thinking every time, how do I ensure that my income, the money making, the money that comes to me does not come seasonally. Starting a company, I now had salaries coming in monthly because I pay myself salaries every month. But that is not enough. I needed something that would, okay, how can we accelerate? How can we accelerate? So online, I do coaching online. I have people that pay me to consult online so that every week, then I had to start investing in different companies. Different is, okay, what are you? It does not matter the business you do. If I sit down, I understand it, I'm able to sit, okay, this is what you do, okay, this is how much you need, okay, I think we can raise this for you as a company or as a person. Or yeah, take this, let me add this to you, go and do this. But this is what I want as return, maybe every week or every month or every year. This is what I want as return. If you can't get it, my company, nowhere. Deal, we sign. What am I trying to say? We need to get to that point where our revenue is not seasonal because our spending is not seasonal. We spend every day. We spend every day. I hope we are learning. I hope I'm making sense. Next is you must build resilience in wealth. You must start thinking of resilience as you build wealth. You must start thinking of resilience because life can happen. Another COVID can show up. Something worse than COVID can show up. If you look at people that you will say they were formerly rich and now they are poor, many a time something happened that broke them. Something happened that broke them. This is why you need to build resilience. One of the easiest way to build resilience in your path to wealth is insurance. Insurance. One of the first insurance you need to have is health insurance. You only know today, but you don't know your health. You don't know your health. So I need to start intentionally thinking, what health insurance schemes do I need to sign up for? What if shit hits the fan? What if something happens? Life can just happen for no reason. I remember the first time I heard of insurance. Hi, Oga Denison. Good evening, sir. The first time I heard of insurance was through Jennifer Lopez. Years ago, I was still a kid also. Jennifer Lopez. And I heard, oh, Jennifer Lopez insured her waist with $1 million back then. And I was like, But she be Jennifer Lopez, now musician, she be dancer, and I can't remember any of her songs. Why will she insure her waist? So, what is the meaning of insure? As a kid, I was curious. And that curiosity grew up with me. Until I now understood, oh, this is how she is making money. What she is trying to do is, should anything happen to my waist, my future needs to be insured. Health insurance. You are a man in your family. There are people that are dependent on you. What health insurance is your backup? You cannot be the Alpha and Omega without an Alpha and Omega behind you. You must build resilience. How many do you have health insurance for yourself? I gave an example, I think, in one of my classes where I said, as a young man, as a young woman, Wema Bank has an 8,700 Naira insurance that gives you 500,000 Naira cover for 6 months. You just pay 8,700 once in 6 months and you have 500k cover. For a guy, 16,000 Naira, you have 1 million Naira cover for a year. There are a whole lot of other health insurance. You were growing up, you were told diabetes killed your father. Diabetes is killing your mother. Diabetes killed your grandfather. You don't know that maybe there is a genetic disposition to diabetes in your family. Do you need to be told that you need to now start thinking of how to go and get an insurance and let them ensure that diabetes is part of those things covered? Because you might be rich as a youth and think you have built resilience or you have built wealth for your retirement. Then one sickness come, bam! Everything you thought you were going to use to retire is now what you are selling to take care of health. No. You must start thinking of insurance. As you are building wealth, those wealth should have insurance. In case I forgot to tell you, insurance companies is one place you should also invest. Insurance company is one place you should invest. The industry sounds boring, but those guys are cashing out. It sounds boring, but they are cashing out. Look for pharmaceutical companies that are making malaria drugs. Those guys are cashing out. We have malaria in Nigeria, whether we like it or yes. You will just wake up, mosquito does not need to bite you. Your body will be like, bro, you don't take when you get malaria, then I'm going to give you small today. But back to what I am saying, you must build resilience. I know that you own your business, you are the CEO, CFO, GEO, HIV, only you. But beyond that, Baba, beyond being the CEO of your company, hey, find a side hustle. Find a side hustle. Side hustle is a resilience because anything can happen to what you do. Side hustle is your resilience because anything can happen to what you do. Yes, we are the largest greenhouse farmer today in West Africa, but guess what? We are also side hustling into processing. While we are side hustling into processing, we are also into poultry. Abi? While we are doing that, we are into storage. While we are doing that, we are now trying our foot in logistics with airplanes across nations. Why? So that even if Satan wants to fall and do his worst, we are not Job. We cannot crash everything at the same time. Some can crash, some will remain. It's building resilience. All your eggs cannot be in one basket. You are making money from social media. What if tomorrow social media crash? Oh, you don't understand, Farmer Sam. I am the king of TikTok. What if tomorrow TikTok stop talking? What if another new social media comes and people moves there? I remember there was a time that the king of social media was Facebook. Abi? But today, then later it became Instagram. If you are not on Instagram, you are nowhere. Then it became Twitter, X. Then it's TikTok and Snapchat now that are reigning. If you are not on TikTok and Snapchat, you have not Snapchat. Abi? Build resilience. Build resilience. Build resilience. In building resilience, as the owner of your company, start thinking of succession plan. Succession plan. What if something happens to you? What if something happens to you? Will the company die? God forbid, maybe you are something happened and there is an opportunity. Would you leave and the company dies? Maybe not an opportunity when I say God forbid. Maybe you were going home, you had an accident and you have to be hospitalized for like a month or 2 months or something. Will you go and the company dies? Build resilience. Resilience is having a succession plan. What will happen if I am not here? What will happen if I am indisposed? Who should manage the company? Who am I training amongst my team to manage the company? I remember I was listening to His Excellency Chief Olusegun Obasanjo was on a Padatic Symphony panel, and somebody was asking him about, was it Paul Kagame also? But no, they were asking him about whether he wanted third term or not. And he made a statement I won't forget. He said, oh, I went to visit my friend Paul, I think it was Paul Kagame also, I can't remember if it was Paul Kagame, one of these African country presidents, and he said, So when I got there, I was telling the guy, man, oh, I heard stories around the fact that you want to do the third term. He said that the man said, initially, I didn't want to do third term. He said, but the two people that I had trained, that I was grooming to take over from me, have betrayed me today. To see what they are, see where they are, see this. And Baba said, oh, after he heard that, he said, okay, I will get back to you. He said he went to the street, disguised himself with mustache, started meeting random people and asking, oh, what do you think about this president? He said 80% of people that he met gave good recommendation and said, if the man is going third time, we will go. Now, where am I going? By the time he came back, he said, well, I have nothing to say because it's not my country. If the citizens say they want it, who am I to say no? Constitution was amended and he went third term, and now he has gone multiple terms beyond that. You cannot afford to be doing kiri at 70 years, 80 years. No. At what point would you enjoy the life you have worked for? But there needs to be succession plan in place. There needs to be a succession plan in place. There is also what is called family succession plan. What is family succession plan? If you are one of those that you believe that your company should go over to your children, there is a systemic way of doing that. It's not haphazardly. It's one of the things I teach in my one-on-one, my executive business class. How do you create family succession plan that will ensure that in 10 years, in 50 years, in 100 years, it is your children's children that will continue to run the company. This is one of the things you get to learn. I learned from Ford Foundation. That, oh, this is how they planned it. Oh, this is why it is still them ruling the company. It is building resilience. It is building resilience. Part of building resilience is writing a will. Should something happen, the family should not scatter. Family should not scatter. Excuse me. Another major part of building resilience is building resilience for your riches that is helping you build your wealth. What are those things that social norms can take away? Climate change can take away. Political stops can take away. What are those things? How do I build resilience around them? Take time and look at some of the big conglomerates. Let me tell you this in case you don't know. Look at some of your biggest conglomerates. Have you noticed that they always have one of their business annexes or something? That is why you will hear Dangote group of companies. They have one annex business or stuff that they have set up where they will make somebody in politics one of the board of directors or give the person shares. It is a way of building resilience. Nítorí pé you will not allow something happen to this one that pays you, because this one that pays you is a child to the conglomerate. You must, as your business begins to grow, you must now know how to choose your boss in a circumspective way to ensure that somebody in the team is a protector because they are a beneficiary. Hi, Anna. That your board is not just made up of intellectual. This is CEO, CFO, COO, AOO. At some point, as your business begins to grow, you need to start thinking of who are the strategic persons that gives this company resilience, that acts as a cover to this business. Number five, create market linkages. Wealth requires consistent demand and premium pricing, not just production. You cannot build wealth from producing. You cannot build wealth from farming. You can only build wealth when there is consistent demand. When there is consistent demand. Thank you, Adiogo Caleb. When there is consistent demand. Because see, how do I explain this? As your money begins to grow, you now need to start owning some factories. you need to start owning some factories. And those factories that you own must specialize. Must specialize in boring things. Must specialize in boring things. Boring things. Things that are boring, not exciting things, because those boring things have constant demand. People will buy them constantly, so you are making money. Thank you, Green Vase from Sierra Leone. They must specialize in boring things. Nothing exciting. No. Because exciting, let me explain the problem with exciting, so you understand. The problem with exciting is people move on to new exciting things. Let me give you an example. A lot of people are staying in Lagos. Many of us remember when Mr. Biggs used to be the place to go. Excuse me, I want to run the AC. How many of us remember when Mr. Biggs was the place to go? Then after Mr. Biggs, we had places like Tantalizer. I don't know if us remember Tantalizer, Sweet Sensation, Mama Cass, Tetrazini. These were the interesting places to go. If you are a music person, in Lagos, there used to be a place called, is it Wonderland or what they call the place? No, what Wonderland is abroad, that belonged to Lagbaja. These were the interesting places to go at some point. But the problem with exciting is, exciting does not last. It becomes familiar, we find the next exciting things. So, as you begin to make money, start thinking of an industry you will set up. And when you set up that industry, focus on boring business. I will give you an example of a boring business you will set up. You will laugh, but a boring business that you will set up and you will make money. Some of you will know it already. Shit business. Yes. Poo-poo. Excreta business. Go and open a mobile toilet business. You will make money. You will make money. Abdulaziz, you are just coming. That's why you're asking why a boring business. Go back. When I am done, I will create a link. Watch it again. I took time to explain what boring businesses are. You will make money. Because, how often have you asked yourself, how does your shit move? You just know you go to toilet and poo. How they clean soak, where they do that, you don't know. That is a good business. Sewage business. Every day you are shouting, these streets are dirty, these streets are dirty. A truck will just come, park. Then you put on your dustbin and it goes, kim, abi? And you pay, you are like, what I pay is not much. People just pay 2K or 3K or 5K a month. It's not just 3K a month I'm paying. It's not just 5K a month I'm paying. What you are forgetting is that truck is on the road every day of the week, Monday through Saturday. Moving from compound to compound to compound to compound to compound and moving things. That truck is probably serving up to 10,000 families. They are collecting, let's even say they are collecting to 2,000 from 10,000 houses. Do you know how much that is every month? Alone in diesel. And some of these truck drivers has even created a system by the time they get to where they throw away the trash, they hire people that sort so that the things that are recyclable, they go and sell it. You keep hearing which thing? I'm not sure what you say you keep hearing. Boring business. Poultry and gold dropping is making... Exactly. People will not think of that. Do you know many poultry farmers will say, we don't know how to discard our waste. You can be the one packing it. I am telling you some boring businesses that people are making money from. Look for any business. Okay, you don't know how people make money from shit business. Oh, you don't know. Have you heard of, there are major biogas companies in Nigeria that use excreta to make, what's the word? They use excreta to make gas for cooking and electricity. Do you think they have all the shit they need? The answer is no. Do you know how many soakaways in Lagos needs to be cleared every other day? soakaways in hotel, in restaurants, in schools, or you think their soakaways are so big that they are bottomless pits. No. It is the shit guys that packs, he send it to the biogas guys that will make gas from it, or make electricity out of it, generate electricity out of it. That is a big business. There are places where they are going, they are doing program, they are doing crusade and all of that. There is no place people gather that they don't need toilets. If there are no toilets in the facility, toilets will be rented. Why are you not the one bringing in the toilets that will be rented? Why don't you own them? This is how you make money. These businesses look boring, but people are making money from it. I will give you another example. Socks. There was no socks. There was no socks. Another place to make money. In short, let me shock you. I will give you an example, a thing that will shock you. Socks. You know normal socks you wear under your shoe now? Don't you buy socks almost every other month or year? Do you know that 1/3 of the socks we wear in the world, let me say that again, no. 1/3 of the socks that we wear in the world comes from a small village in China, and that China village is called Datang Zuhi. This village is also known as Socks City. Everybody there owns a socks factory or works in a socks factory. Yes, Yoruba will say, Inu igbe lowo wa. Thank you. A fellow farmer in East Africa runs their farm from sheet through biogas technology. Do you think the farmer owns all his sheets? No, he is buying the sheets. He is buying the sheets. So there is money in socks. There is money in cardigan. There is money in children's clothes. Do you know why I like children's clothes? Children will grow. The clothes it is not every children's clothes you can pass over. How many clothes will you give to a woman that just gave birth? People will keep buying. Chicken money is also money. Exactly. I'm trying to show you how we build, how we make wealth. Because as you begin to make that money, try and find where to put the money. Start thinking of boring industries. But don't think of interesting ones. No. Look for the boring ones. Start looking at what do these people. Just sit on your street and see what do people do every day. Okay. This is what people are doing every day. How can I turn it into a business? I'm sure you all know that this one and that one don't cast pure water business. What it casts. Because pure water business was a business that you thought was not making money. Those days it was 5 naira. You always looked down on pure water business, like not be pure water, money not there. But the owners, you always smiling to the bank. Because it looks boring. I should give you another one that will shock you. I should tell you, toothpick business. See, you are looking at it as, think of toothpick. I'm not saying do everything. I'm just trying to tell you, you must look for an industry that is boring, create a market, so that is that industry you are now putting your riches into, your riches. That now becomes your wealth generator. Think of toothpick. How many, let me ask you this question now. Let me ask you this question here. Let's try it. Give me 3 companies that you know that makes toothpicks in Nigeria. Yeah, let's do that. Please, let's type. Ejo, help me out. I know I've taken longer time today because it's almost, we spent an hour already. Please, give me 3 companies that you know that makes toothpicks in Nigeria. 3 companies that you know that makes toothpicks in Nigeria. Please, anybody? Because I know almost everybody has toothpick in their house. Abi? Give me anyone that you know, even if it is flocks. Flocks. I use flocks, not toothpicks. Anyone that you know, any company that you know, don't share toothpick in Nigeria. Oga say you not know. Think. Think. Before I say what I want to say, think. Oh yeah. Try. Oh yeah, please. Let's. So they said, I think we import from India. No. We have at least 4 or 5 big toothpick companies now in Nigeria. But you don't know their name, but you use their product every day. Okay, I don't know about Cameroon, but there are like 4 or 5 major companies in Nigeria doing toothpicks. In short, most of their toothpicks, they come in this toothpick picky thingy. They don't even write their name. One come see, is not branded, is not anything. You don't invite them for TED Talk. You don't invite them to come and give speeches. You don't invite the CEO to come and do anything. In short, let me not go too deep. I'll just let me pause it at that. The CEOs have their other full-time business. But from the money they are making, they set up toothpick factory. You make toothpick from oil palm. How many oil palms are in Nigeria? Shake Okponi, Okpo, Jabrata. And they just make the toothpick, go and share it and sell it. No branding needed. It is boring now. If you meet them and they say, what do you do? And they say, oh, I have a toothpick company. What will be your thought when you hear I have a toothpick company? You just look at them like toothpick. Toothpick. Move, Jare, peel out. But they are making money. They have built wealth. Boring companies. Remember, we said boring company is what? It is not exciting. There is no hype. But what they do is essential. What of toothpaste company? I mean, you have to brush in the morning. Thank you. Tissue company, tissue paper. Do you know you don't need up to 5 million naira to set up a tissue company? I am telling you for free. To start a tissue paper company, you don't need up to 5 M. Don't you use tissue almost every other day? If you can do tissue, you can do serviette. Abi? Let me bring it home. You don't even need up to 2 M to start a menstrual pad company. Don't women use menstrual pad at least once a month? You don't. Funny enough, you can even make menstrual pads from trunk of plantain. Those plantain trunks, the people that own plantain are cutting and throwing away, you can convert it into menstrual pads. Let me shock you, let me bring it home. You know the rice husk we are using for our farming and call it soilless? You can use that to make wood and use it to create furniture. These things look boring. Candle making. Yes, candle making. Chalk. Because what is like, no, you cannot do chalk. You know, chalk is no longer popular, but that's in the city. Oh. Do not think there are more people in the villages than people in the city. Chalk is a way to make clean money. How many chalk companies do you know? Candle is a way to make clean money. How many candle companies do you know? Oh, there are some things that I can't tell, but let me just let it go because this is public. Have you ever asked yourself, how many of us know this oil called Goya oil? Goya, G-O-Y-A. That Nigerians have now christened as anointing oil. Goya oil is just oil for cooking, it's olive oil. Do you know that that company is not a Nigerian company? Do you know the branding they had to do that it was... Let me not talk. Go back and read the history of Goya oil. Anointing oil. Go and read the history of Goya oil. Look for the real history, not the one formulated to make you not know. And you would then realize that the reason Goya oil became an anointing oil is because a prominent pastor had shares in the company and was using it regularly for prayer. And because other men of God believed in him, they now started using it for prayer. It now became Christian as anointing oil. Now, if you go to anybody's kitchen and you see Goya oil and they say fry egg, you feel like you are committing a sin. Now, oil, Ogogo, the normal oil is supposed to be, But now they don't turn out to anointing oil. The makers of the oil never called it anointing oil because it is oil for frying egg, akara, putting moi moi, fried plantain, fried dodo. That's what it's supposed to be. But they got an influencer who made them see, if we start using this as anointing, people will start buying it. This is like long ago when they said, I don't want to call names, when they started propagating, if you bring your oil, we will pray on it. Then he was specific, bring your Goya anointing oil, Goya anointing oil, Goya. People started looking for Goya. All they needed to invest in was distribution. All they needed to invest in was distribution. And he told them how many will be sold in a year and how much shares they should give to him. Because of that, he was given shares for what is sold in Nigeria. It even got to a point that they had to involve NAFDAC so that NAFDAC could go and destroy the fake. Because, what am I trying to explain? You may not need to own the company. You can just influence the reach of an existing company and collect shares because of that influence. That man understood, if I can create market linkage for this product, I can use that to bargain shares in that company. That way, with that market linkage, I am made for life. So, I am not saying you must be saying, I don't want to own another factory now. No. Find what you can influence and get shares. Find what you can influence and get shares. Find what you can influence and get equity because you're influencing. That way, by the time you create market, as long as that thing exists, you are making money for life. You know the whole telecommunication stories we've heard. There are a lot of stories. There are examples for. You don't need to be told to know that McDonald's in Nigeria does not belong to McDonald's abroad, that is just a franchise. But those people, whoever invested in that has seen that this thing is making sense abroad. Can I get your franchise to Nigeria and make it sell? Same with Domino's. So you may not be the one to start the brand from scratch. You might just give, okay, let me take your franchise and expand because you already have a name people are willing to buy. Or let me just buy shares. Or if I can expand this for you, how much do I get back in perpetuity till death? That takes care of you. Few weeks ago, I was opportunity to be with a professor that has a somewhat lifetime contract with a big company. I don't want to call their names. Yes, 2 million startup capital. Because the part you are going to do, you don't need to overbrand it. You'll be selling in your local community. As the money begins to come, you now keep expanding. Hey, Yinka Yukiko, my guy. Good evening, bro. How about you? Uncle Yinka Yukiko. Yukiko's Tuzuntus. Those are my IT Egbon in bioscience. They try to teach me some things from bioscience, but the brain not really carry. Samuel Eto'o influences Guinness product in Cameroon. That's how he became a major shareholder. Thank you. Because that is him converting his riches and his influence to shares. His riches and his... Think about it. I remember when was it... there was a Nigerian actor that died recently that he said, I was trying to raise money because when I had diabetes on one leg or so. Was it? I'm trying to remember the actor's name. What was the... I'm trying to remember the actor's name. Very popular, a comedian. I don't want to call it a wrong name. Mr. Ibru, thank you so much, Mr. Ibru. When I heard the story of Mr. Ibru, because I watched him partially. My favorite was Sam Lokoefe, but I was not buoyant when Sam Lokoefe was sick and he died. It pained me, and I said, if only this man had somebody that advised him earlier on in his career. If only he had somebody that had advised him earlier in his career. When he was popular, people are saying, come and become brand ambassador, he would have refused the money and asks for shareholder. That way, he is sure of always getting money for life till death. He would have even asked for help if he knew, oh, I am predisposed to diabetes. He would have requested, okay, I'm going to be your brand ambassador, but I want you to give me health insurance for this specific disease should it ever come up. He could have gotten it. Or worst case scenario, they would have given him a better offer. What am I saying? Create market linkage. Create market linkage. Next, you must invest your profit strategically. Invest your profit strategically. You want to build wealth after you have made riches, you must understand what is called compounding wealth. You must understand what is called compounding wealth. What is compounding? I like defining so it doesn't look like he's just saying it. Compounding wealth is a process of earning returns on both your initial investment and accumulated returns over time. This one, we call it making interest on interest. Interest on interest. Making interest on interest. Now, let me explain this. I've said this before and I'll say it again. It's as a young person, I mean, some of my colleagues that I'm close to, when they're like, oh, I've given birth, this. Once most of them give birth to their second child, I call them and say, sit, let's gist. You have reached what it is, let's pause. And they'll look at me, but for myself, you have three, I'll be like, there's a difference. I'll always tell them, see, my first child, by next year, she's in the university. The second one is still very young, primary school, just 3 years. I said, why that long gap? I needed to ensure should anything happen to me, whomever takes my burden has only one to take care of. But I say right now, the first one's future is almost set because I have saved some funds aside for education to graduation. So I am now taking care of 2 and 3. Knowing that when this one is done, OT done, I tell people, oh, it is, you know I've explained it, but let me explain it again because people were not around. Let me explain it again. If you go to work every day and come back every day and they pay you salary at the end of the month, even if your salary is 1 million, that 1 million naira that you were paid or that you paid yourself because you are the owner of the business is directly proportional to your life because you spent your life literally to make that money. And I said the error a lot of people make is they use the money they use their life to make to take care of things that are not life. The only thing the money you used your life to make is supposed to be spent on is food. Because it is food that will give you life. Abi? So the sustainer of your life is food. So the money I make with my life, I will only take part of it to buy food. The remaining part of the money should be reinvested in other things so that it is the interest of those things that takes care of my life or that takes care of the quality of life that I enjoy, not the food this time around. If I'm making any sense. If you get that, say yes. Let me be sure somebody got what I just tried to explain. Say yes if you got that. Because it feels like I used a lot of life around. If you got what I just explained, say yes. If you didn't, say no. If you got it, say yes. If not, say no. Okay, I didn't get it, so I can re-explain again. So let me explain it again for the one person that didn't get it. I go to work every day. You know, if when I went to work, I was 1 year old, by the time I come back, I am 1 year, 8 hours older. Abi? So, if, for example, what they pay me per month is 60,000 naira as an example, it means invariably for every day I went to work, let's assume Saturday, Sunday I was going to work, I am being paid 2,000 naira per day, 2,000 naira per day. If at the end of the month I collect my 60,000 naira, I now chose to use 60,000 naira. Let's assume, okay, let's say I was paid 600,000 naira, which means I was paid 20,000 or so per day. I now use, out of the 600,000, use 100k to eat. That 100k, if it took me 10 days to make it, it is the equivalent of using 10 days of my life to eat. Now, the mistake people make, it is from that 600k they will save money to pay school fees. From that 600k they will save money to buy car, pay rent, pay this, pay that. The reality is, because that money is equivalent to the life that you have spent, what it then means is you are using your life literally to pay for things. But the key, the trick, the system, the strategy to building wealth is, I should only use the money I got with my life to buy food to keep the life around. I should now start thinking, where else can I put this balance? So that the balance of this money, when I invest it in this thing, the profit from that thing. Because you know that when I put that money in something, those people that I invested the money in are now the ones spending their life. So the profit from that thing is what we now take care of school fees, take care of this, take care of that, take care of that. If anything happens, I collect my capital back. I know there was a class I taught this, that I even said, if you are saying, well, my money is not much, where can I invest it? I said, there are places you can invest it that you have overlooked out of pride. And I gave an example of such a place. I said, there are women on your street selling akara. Why have you not asked them, do you need more money? How can I make this bigger? I said, they tell you how to make it bigger and all of that. Then you can give them small money and say, okay, for the next 1 month, we'll be eating free breakfast in your place. That saves you money on the long run. So, back to what I'm saying, you must think of how to reinvest strategically. You cannot start enjoying too early. Am I saying you should be akagun to yourself? No. But you must think of investment and reinvestment. Remember, your real life starts after retirement. This is your hustle. Okay, so I will pause here. Any question? Time up. Any question? First, I hope you've understood because I explained again. Any question? Any question? Any question? I hope we were able to learn a thing or two. I hope we learned a thing or two. I hope it was worth it. What are the investment opportunities for the 5 million capital? No, you see, take your time. Go and I will by tomorrow. I will try to post all the videos from number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, then to number 5. If the only thing you watched, if you didn't watch my day 1, you didn't watch my day 2, you didn't watch my day 3, and you didn't watch my day 4, and you want to make investment out of day 5, you will run at a loss. Because remember, my conversation started from day 1, Monday. So tomorrow morning, I will try and see if I can make a post tomorrow morning where I will put a link to all the videos on YouTube so that you can watch it one after the other. People are back. Oh, I'll bring my baby girl. How is she? That way you are able to understand it perfectly. Eh? It's all right, I know. It's tomorrow. Baby girl.
Hi, this is something.
Have you seen fine girl before? See fine girl. You don't have anybody fine in your family. You can snap this one and put. You're looking for a fine child, snap and put, and be saying, Lord, see this. Yeah. Hey, already. No, so I know you are saying investment opportunities. No, I know what you said. That's what I'm saying. First, watch. When you have watched, I will know that your questions are coming from a place of you've understood. Again, that's why if you notice online, I always tell people I'm not looking for investment, because people would say, oh, maybe the person is teaching this because they want you to invest. No, I'm not looking for investment. I'm not looking for investment. We have a farm that is over 100 acres of greenhouses. Over 100 acres of greenhouses. You know what that is? If you know that a greenhouse costs 8 million naira, we have over 800 greenhouses. Do the maths. And I'm not owing anybody any money. Again, when you say advice for 20 million naira investment in agri, go back and read, watch when I post it tomorrow, watch and see what I wrote. You will be able to see it step by step. Or what I'll post it tomorrow, if tomorrow morning, if I'm able to finish all the downloading, I will post the link to all of the videos. Why am I posting it? I want you to be able to see it, watch it at your pace. When you have watched it, you can now say, okay, this is where I am in my journey. This is where I am in my journey. Then yes, by the time you are now asking questions, I know that those questions are coming from a place of knowledge. They are coming from a place of knowledge. Hope that makes sense. Because I know that, oh yes, many times when people listen to things like this, it feels like the person doing this teaching has a thing to sell, has something to sell. That is why they are teaching like this. They want to tell you to come. I'm not looking for investment. If you go through any of my, I will compile on the link into a single post. I will combine all the link into a single post, so that you don't have to worry about how to find it by tomorrow morning. If I'm able to download this night and post, does your live stream save on YouTube? No, so that's what I'm saying. I will download it this night, put it on YouTube. By tomorrow morning, once it has uploaded, I will now make a post, put all the link one after the other of class 1, class 2, 3, 4, and 5. Today's class, everything will be there, so that you can now go there and watch it step by yourself. Oh, thank you. You had Sonia says, you know, I'm not taking investment. Thank God, you know. Thank you so much. So recently, I know by Monday or so, we are opening up a system. You know, we do white labeling as a company, and we tell people, oh, come with whatever product you want us to help you white label, spices and all of that. I think for, is it 8 million or 9 million, we help people to produce chili pepper. I don't have any example around me that I could have used. Chili pepper, we help you brand it to whatever brand you want. We put our certification on top because it was manufactured here. And you can sell for 9 million, we give you 120,000 pieces. Then you can go out and start selling and making money. But that is not the cocoa. I need us to learn. Okay, since no other question, thank you all for joining. It was a pleasure. How best can you create market linkage? That is a whole class on its own. But if you go on my YouTube page, there was a class I taught on 12 ways to create markets in agriculture. Either 12 or 24, I can't remember. Go on my YouTube page. Why do people see young people trying to make money as desperate? No, you see, there is a curve to making money. Take time and watch all my videos. There is a curve. If the money you are trying to make exceeds your knowledge base, then you are not trying to make money, it is greed. There is a curve. There is a curve. There is a class where, I think it was a Monday class, I was teaching the fact that there is, if you don't have money, it means you don't have, money is a reflection of value. So if you find out you don't have money right now, I put this, I said there are 3 things you need to have: money, knowledge, and time. I said, but many a time you will realize that you don't have money, you don't have knowledge, but you have enough time as a young person. I said, what you need is a place to work, because you have time. While you are there, the mistake people make is they think because I am giving you my time, I should make money, but it is wrong. In giving your time, the goal is to build knowledge. When your knowledge becomes good enough, the knowledge becomes a bargaining chip to make money in the future. So that is why we see it as being desperate, because you don't have the requisite knowledge yet, but you are trying to make money. Whatever money you make will be at the knowledge you are at, except you are doing illegal things. And the problem is you will not be able to achieve your full potential with that knowledge level. You will strive, but you will not live. Hope that makes sense. Thank you for joining, and have a great night.
I think